Here I have the reading 5 study questions, the second Aristotle reading from the Politics, infamous section of Aristotle. Number 1, what is Aristotle trying to prove in this reading from the Politics? I guess the most direct answer to that question, he's trying to justify slavery, at least what he calls natural slavery. Slavery by nature as opposed to slavery by custom or convention. He does allow that some people are slaves who are not meant to be slaves. People who are taken in war and unlucky, right? But he's not defending that really. What he's defending is the idea that some people are better off being slaves. That some people are meant to be slaves. Some people are meant to be masters. Some people are meant to be the rulers, and some people are meant to be ruled. Now, that obviously is not equivalent to say some people are meant to be slaves, right? But that's the general tack that he takes. So what is he trying to prove? I believe he's trying to prove that at least that there is such a thing as natural slavery, and some human beings are better off being slaves because they were meant to be slaves. As crazy as that sounds, I think that's what he's saying. Some people, well, took a slightly different tack, I think, in their responses to this question. Is that, what is he trying to prove? That there's a better and worse, and that the better should rule over the worse? I mean, that might be as good an answer, but it would have to take into account the reality that he's really trying to, beyond that, also justify slavery. Number 2, how does Aristotle try to prove his major point in this reading from Politics? Well, he's got to try to establish that there are people who are slavish by nature or better off being slaves, and that some people are naturally suited to being masters of slaves. That, wow, it's just such a raw, ugly thing, but he does provide something like an argument, and it is that some people are better and some people are worse, and it's good that the better rule over the worse. But as somebody pointed out in class, it's pretty bad logic, because it doesn't follow from that some people should be slaves, right? Which is a really good point. However, he says that some people do not have the rationality to rule themselves. That seems to be the key issue, or what, in his mind, separates the natural slave from the natural master, is that the master is fully rational, that is capable of thinking, deliberating, reasoning, and that the slave is not. So therefore, the slave, according to Aristotle, is better off being taken care of, to the point of being the property of the master, which again seems to be quite a jump of logic, even from his own premises. But I think that's the argument. And then 3, what is your evaluation of Aristotle's argument in this reading from the Politics? I suppose there it does matter how you answered question 1. Obviously, I think none of us would go along with the argument for natural slavery. Some of us might have more sympathy for the argument that it's good that the better rule over the worse, if we are able to define what that means. I don't know. I guess in its harshest form, harshest reality of the thing, to approve of Aristotle's argument would be to approve of natural slavery. Nobody believes that anymore. I don't know if anybody ever really believed that. But the larger view that he definitely shares with Plato, that it's right that the better should rule over the worse, that maybe is a more difficult argument to dismiss. However strongly we may be inclined to disbelieve it, it's not as easily dismissed, I think, as easily dismissed as the argument about slavery, which seems to be, frankly, pretty weak on its own merits.